What's up, everybody? It's Monday, and we have a court full tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Celebrity Court of Public Opinion, where the glitz of fame meets the grit of legal scrutiny. Tonight, we dive into 5 riveting cases that have the entertainment world buzzing, from serious allegations against beloved performers to high-stakes battles over artistic freedom and financial disputes. Our docket includes Shangela. The drag superstar faces multiple sexual assault allegations that could redefine the landscape of the LGBTQ plus entertainment community. Kanye West and Kim Kardashian locked in a contentious clash over a new song featuring their daughter North, raising questions about parental rights and artistic boundaries. Also, we're going to be examining that track star. Virginia track star Alayla Everett is embroiled in an assault charge that challenges our perceptions of self-defense, that's what you call it, and bias in school discipline. Also, the legendary George Clinton is waging a $100 million legal war to reclaim the rights to his Funkadelic catalog, a battle that could set new precedents in music rights. Oh, and then we're going to close out tonight with Iggy Azalea squaring off against Universal Music Group, not somebody else squaring off with them, over claims of unpaid royalties, highlighting the ongoing struggle of artists seeking financial transparency. All right, so everyone, grab your gavel and let's get ready to deliberate. Court is now in session. Joining us tonight, our legal beagles, we have first up, author of Shit They Never Taught You in Law School, Jason Weiss. Jason Weiss, welcome back to Celebrity Court.
Thank you, Your Honor. Very excited to be here and wearing my green so that it can be seen.
Daddy Day. All right, joining Jason Weiss tonight, we have that fiery civil attorney, Shatan Turner. Shatan Turner, welcome back to Celebrity Court.
Thanks for having me back. And guess what? I have one too.
Now, you missed court on Friday, ma'am. Would you like to give your fans an update of what was going on?
Oh, I did. And I'm sorry. And I missed all of y'all. I would have been here, but mommy duty called. I had to retrieve my boys from Culpeper, Virginia. They were with my Aunt Sheila. Thank you, Aunt Sheila. And they were playing farmers for the week, and they had a great time.
All right, joining the farmers, well, the farmer's mother. We have Entertainment Esquire Ashley, attorney Ashley. Welcome back to Celebrity Court.
Hi, everyone. Happy to be back and happy St. Patrick's Day. Green is my favorite color, but I'm obviously not wearing it today.
You're not in the wine bar tonight, Ashley?
No, not in the wine bar. Don't mind him in his comments. Social media.
I stalk her on Instagram, y'all. And last but definitely not least, we have humorist at law, Sean Carter. Sean Carter, welcome back to Celebrity Court.
Thank you very much, Laddie. And my name is Irish, so I'm gonna be Irish at least for another 4 or 5 hours.
All right, don't forget to throw in the shield for Jason Weiss, the fire emoji for Attorney Turner, the clown emoji for Attorney Carter, and I always miss the Entertainment Esquire.
Stars. It's a
star, the blue star. And don't forget to throw
it could be any star, but
any star. Okay, any star for the star, the Entertainment Star Esquire. And also don't forget to throw the fax machine in the chat for your Judge Al Reynolds. And can you please do me a quick favor? Can you please hit the like button? If you've already hit the like button, hit that subscribe button. If you already subscribed, hit the share button. Also, don't forget to turn on your notifications. And as always, it's a pleasure to see you guys dropping down into the chat. SL, welcome back. Jay, welcome back. Sonia Young, welcome back. Charles Harris, Brenda O, HB Jr., welcome back. Pisces Unicorn, Tanya Kelly, thank you for joining us tonight. The Entertainment Esquire, oh, you're working with us. Venetia Phillips, welcome back. Miss Real, I Heart Grace, welcome back. Bojango 46, welcome back. Terrain, welcome back. Daphne, welcome back. Everybody, welcome back. All right, let's get this docket going. Whoo, this is a case for all. Shangela, yes, you heard me correctly. First on the docket, we have a troubling case involving RuPaul's Drag Race star Shangela, known as DJ Pierce, who is now facing allegations from 7 individuals accusing him of sexual assault over the past decade. The accusations range from non-consensual encounters to claims of abuse of power within the entertainment industry. Shangela has denied all allegations, labeling them as false and damaging. I want to throw to you, Attorney Carter. Now, Attorney Carter, before I throw to you, I just want to be very clear that I have this understood. So he has 7 accusers. The first accuser is Danielle, right? He's a former We're Here production assistant who accused Shangela of assaulting him in a Louisiana hotel room after a party.
Mm-hmm.
As Eric. Eric is an adult film actor, a production assistant who claims he was drugged and assaulted while working on Hurricane Bianca 2. And
Okay.
then you have accuser 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Some are saying that Shangela initiated sexual activity while they were intoxicated. Well, when do you initiate it? Just kidding. Accuser B says that they were too inebriated to consent, but Shangela continued. Accuser 3 said alleged unwanted sexual advances despite refusal. Accuser D claims Shangela tried to engage in non-consensual sex while they were intoxicated. They stay intoxicated, huh? And accuser E, another victim, alleged an assault while incapacitated. All right, talk to us, Attorney Carter, about this case and what's going on.
Right. So what I'm getting from this is a Cosby thing. You know, these people are going out, having drinks, waking up, and allegedly Shangela is assaulting them in some way. And here's the thing about it. We're talking about 7 allegations. But do you understand how many more people than men, because he's going after men here, how many more men out there must be? Because if you get me, guess what? You just got me. Ain't no way in the world I'm admitting to that. All right, I just want to walk it off. So imagine the man who just said, I got to just walk this off, all right? Give me some Epsom salts and just soak this tail down.
No, I can't.
I can't go home and explain to my wife how I got me too.
You drank too much and you got assaulted by a drag queen.
Yeah, that's not gonna work. I'm creative, but I can't come up with a lie that's gonna make that one all right. So you can imagine there's a lot of people out there, and it's sad, but it's true. It just also shows that because it seems like if all these people passed out, there's probably some drugging involved. There's probably some. He should have, instead of going on RuPaul's drag race, should have gone on Roofy's drag race. And so unfortunately, that seems to be the case. We don't know that's the case, but 7 people. That's pretty indication.
That's pretty crazy. Attorney Turner, help me understand this though, because we know that given that these are civil lawsuits, what is the burden of proof required? And could these allegations lead to criminal charges?
Well, they definitely smell like criminal charges, don't they? Because you have, and I did not mean that in the way that it may have sounded, but you have physical violence, right? At its core, sexual assault is alleging physical violence. So whenever you have a claim of physical violence, there's always the potential for a criminal lawsuit, assuming that the events at issue occurred within the statute of limitations. But the criminal standard is higher. So the civil standard is a preponderance of the evidence. That means it's more likely than not that the allegations that you're alleging occurred. Criminal, it's beyond a reasonable doubt, right? And so sometimes, as we have seen, we've talked about this example before, and the algoriters are probably too young to even get the reference, but I got to make it. We've talked about the OJ case, right? If it doesn't fit, you must acquit. He got off on the criminal trial and was found not guilty, and yet his estate is still fighting the verdict that was issued in the civil case and trying to figure out how to pay the Goldman family. And so they're very different procedures, very different legal standards, and you can win in one and lose in the other.
All right, let's go to you, our entertainment esquire. Is Shangela's entertainment career in the entertainment industry over because of all of this?
Well, unfortunately, whether it be Bill Cosby, Tory Lanez, Diddy, R. Kelly, just go down the list, right? Unfortunately, people are tried in the court of public opinion, no pun intended, but they're tried there first. They're not supposed to be, but these big cases are tried in the court of public opinion. And so at this point, regardless of what happens in a courtroom, civil or criminal, you're going to already have people saying kind of what Attorney Carter said about, maybe one person, maybe two, but when seven people pretty much have the same story, even if you truly are innocent, it's just, it's a wrap. I don't, even athletes that get accused of stuff, there's that good old morality clause, right? In the contracts of TV shows. I'm sure RuPaul's Drag Race, their contract has a morality clause. Every contract I can think of in the entertainment space has a morality clause. So even when you are accused of something and you end up not really doing it, maybe you're not found guilty on the criminal, you're not found, liable in the civil, you're already damaged. This is why do you think Jay-Z is suing, his accuser? Because he lost $20 million plus and was embarrassed on the Mufasa night with Blue Ivy. He is never going to forget or forgive that.
Right.
So yeah, you're damaged goods.
Okay, so let's go. Kay says, one of our algorithms says, I can tell you from being a RuPaul drag fan, she really has no career in the queer community right now. No one trusts her and will ever say her name. Jason, let's go to you real quick. Now, these allegations, what I find most interesting, sorry, this seems interesting to me, but started in 2013, one accuser. Then in 2014, another accuser. Then 2015, another accuser. Then 2016, another accuser. Then 2017, another accuser. 2018, another accuser. 2019, another accuser. 2020, another accuser. What is going on? Why is it one a year?
They want to be exclusive. I don't know.
I don't understand.
Look, maybe the time has worn out. Maybe when he decided to go to the next one, the former one got pissed off, or it's just. But look, my gut says there's more than these 7. My gut says multiply that 7 by 7, and that's probably more accurate.
Right, but I get that, but I find it very interesting that there's a chronological order by year on the 7 that have come forward. It's 1 per year since 2013.
Like I said, maybe he had an exclusive relationship with them for a year and then moved on to the next one. I mean, I'm kidding with that, but look, these are just the individuals that have come forward so far. I think we're going to see a lot more, and I think it's not going to stop at 2020. It's going to come all the way up to 2025.
Attorney Carter, is there a limitation, statute of limitation with any of these cases?
No, we talk about this all the time. There used to be in the past that you had like a 2-3 year period, but most states have been now set up a system that victims of assault, sexual assault, can now bring their claims years after. Some states have said, whenever you decide to bring it, we're here for it. Usually on a civil case. The problem with the criminal side is that it's very difficult to prove these cases, even if you bring them immediately. But how do you bring a case beyond a reasonable doubt where there are 2 people in a room, there's some alcohol involved, and so it's very difficult to bring that criminal case at any point, particularly years and years later. That almost never works, but the civil claims are still available, and so we'll see a lot of those. I think the problem is, the thing is that people are now aware of this. Before people literally just had, I mentioned before, walk it off, men and women. And now people are realizing that, hey, I have some rights.
I have some options. Okay, so let me ask you this. Your governor, Jason, is going to have a blast with this because he always said that trans drag queens were scary for the kids, right? That's why he has that law in Miami. This is what makes this so sad when stuff like this happens, because it really does give these right-wingers who are trying to have trans or drag queens thrown completely off the strip or regulated, you know, because they said that, you know, they're messing with the little kids or they're assaulting people. This is really sad that this is what's happening.
And I say we just reframe it and say that, you know, dirt bags come in all shapes, sizes,
Oh,
genders, and you know, colors, right? There's no monopoly on any good behavior or bad behavior, regardless of what community you're a member of. And so for this one, you know, this many allegations, you know, where there's smoke, there's fire, right? And what also happens in a lot of these cases for sexual assault, as Attorney Carter was hinting at, it's not only that the burden of proof is hard to achieve when you only have two people in a room, but when you're partying, right? Or you were at work and decided to share a drink with a coworker or, you know, somebody who is in a position of authority, and you wake up and you're kind of fuzzy about what happened, but you're a little sore. Like in your mind, you're starting to replay, like, should I have taken that drink? Should I have done it? And so it takes a while for people to feel comfortable even making the allegation. And, you know, we don't know what happened in any of these 7 cases, but they sound similar enough that there really should be
some type of investigation. All right, Kay, I just wanted to make sure you're absolutely correct. Important to note that not all drag queens are trans. That's 100% correct. And also, there are hundreds of drag queens and queer people. They are not all predators. 110%. Not saying that. I'm just saying that, unfortunately, when things like this happen, people who use that narrative that drag queens are harmful to the community, this just gives them more bragging rights, right? All right,
Yeah.
let's keep it moving. All right, Kanye West and Kim clash over new song. Next, we're turned to an ongoing saga between Kanye West and Kim Kardashian. Kanye recently released a song titled "Lonely Roads Still Go to Sunshine," featuring their 11-year-old daughter Northwest. And guess who else? And Diddy, who is currently facing serious legal charges. Now, Kim reportedly objected to North's involvement, citing concerns over exploitation and legal ramifications, and has considered seeking legal action to modify their custody agreement. All right, Shaitan, I'm going to go to you because this is kind of weird.
Wait,
Now,
you said Diddy's facing criminal No, Diddy's not. I didn't know he was in trouble.
yeah. So I want to this to me is a real serious violation to me, especially as it relates to their parental agreement. But not only that, Kim Kardashian was smart enough to trademark her daughter's name, right? So talk to me, what are the legal issues here, number one, right? And does Kim have the legal authority to prevent Kanye from involving their daughter in artistic projects?
So first, I have to make this just advice for the algoriters. This case illustrates how who you decide to have children with has ramifications for you and your kids throughout their lives. Like I'm saying water's wet, but it's really true. In this case, we all bore witness to Kanye and Kim's love story, and they were friends who fell in love. They had the big proposal in the baseball stadium, and it seemed like it was true love and electric. I'm not sure what happened. I don't know what in the California happened to Kanye West during the marriage, but he flipped, and it seems like he had a huge values change with him and Kim, right? Now, you can say what you want about Kim Kardashian. From an observer, it appears that she is a very serious mother, and she does value how she parents her kids. Kanye, unfortunately, we don't get to bear witness to him as a father as much, but we get to bear witness to him doing other things that are various shades of weird and inappropriate. The last of which was his current wife walking naked through the Grammys, right? With the sheer thing on. And so Kim have been watching him and his bad behavior for a while and thinking, oh, well, at least he's good to the kids. Now he has their daughter, their minor daughter, in a song with somebody who has been accused of like more heinous sex crimes than anybody in the last century. And he didn't have the independent judgment to say, I should not do that to my daughter. What I believe he was trying to do at a minimum was try to get Northwest in the same category as Blue Ivy, because remember, Blue Ivy was the youngest person to ever win a Grammy because of her presence. I think she was like 2 years old on a Jay-Z album. And so maybe Kanye was like, oh, I'll get even more publicity by putting my daughter on a song with one of the soon to be convicted felons of our time, right? Who does that, right? Who does that, to your point? So then the question becomes, can he, right? So the question is, what rights do parents have post-divorce?
Yes.
And it really depends on their parental agreement. So there's two main types of custody. There's legal custody and there's physical custody. They can be solely held by one parent or they can be shared. So what matters here is whether Kanye and Kim share legal custody, actually, because whoever has legal custody is the one that gets to control the comings and goings and the behavior and what the kids do, right?
Okay. So if they share it, he can make this decision without Kim's approval.
If they share it, he can make the decision without even consulting her. So there's one thing about like approval or disapproval. And then there's another thing about saying, hey, like, what do you think about putting our daughter in a song with somebody who's been accused of pedophilia? You think that's a good idea, Kim? Right? If they have shared, he doesn't have to ask. But here's the ultimate trump card. Child custody is a moving target during the life of the kids, and it can get reevaluated at any time. And so what Kim may do is to go to court and say, look, Kanye is no longer acting in the best interest of our children. Exhibit A is him putting Northwest in the song. I believe that he is, exposing her to reckless endangerment because this could have long-lasting reputational harm to her, right? And I don't know if it's ever been litigated. Like, I'm sure she and Diddy weren't in the same place, but he's been accused of pedophilia. Putting a minor on a song with him just doesn't seem to be a good look. And so she may go and try to convince the court that it would be in the best interest of her children for her to have sole legal and physical custody of them.
Attorney Carter, let me ask you this. How about child exploitation laws? Is this something that Kanye could face if Kim wanted to push it because of, putting North in a song alongside an individual facing legal charges? Could that be considered exploitative or harmful under child protection laws?
Which Carter?
Sean Carter.
Oh, okay.
I'll go next.
Absolutely. That's definitely one of the things that they can use. Either one, California has very specific child exploitation laws that basically says you either need the mom or the daughter's consent. Let's say North agrees and says, hey, I want to be all up in this. All right. That's not the problem, but he has two other problems. One, he has a problem with the fact that child labor laws. California in the music industry has very specific hoops you got to go through with signatures you got to sign and whatever to use kids in your in your musical or in your artistic endeavors. Mm-hmm. And it's almost 100% likely that Kanye didn't fill out all the paperwork. So I know he didn't take his meds. So I'm almost positive that he didn't fill out all the paperwork. He probably has that at the very least. Then there is that weird trademark issue, which is if Kim holds a trademark on North, then can he actually advertise that she's on the song because that's Kim's intellectual property? It gets weird in that regard. And I'm going to have a real entertainment lawyer explain that because I can't even figure out how you have a trademark on an actual person. But okay.
So I will.
What about the child protection laws?
Well, he's not physically putting the child in harm. No, it's not a good look for her to be on a song with a potentially convicted sex trafficker. But it's the child is not really being in physical harm. You have to understand, and I know Shaitan can probably circle back and speak to this.
I don't know if I agree with that, because I can imagine that online.
No, I'm just saying the laws. No. There have been mothers that are extremely mentally ill, barely take care of their children, and they still get to keep custody. When I say, and I didn't do family law for a long time. I know Shatan did it probably longer than me, but in the brief time that I did family law, which you got to be a special person to want to do family law, the bar is almost in hell for like you have to almost be dangling the child on top of a roof.
Michael Jackson.
It has to be extreme. So her just having her voice in a song, she's not physically being harmed. Yeah, there's some reputational stuff there. There's not a good look there.
What about the death threats? What about the death threats? What about the extreme hate online?
But you can't. I mean, she could get death threats.
A public figure
on the song. Yeah, she's a public figure, so they're not going to hold that on. They're not going to implicate that on Kanye that because she's in this song now people are sending her death threats. No, like I said, I hear you. I actually agree with you, Judge Al Reynolds. There's some things I think should cross that threshold of putting the child in harm's way, but in family law, the bar is in hell.
Wow.
As it relates to what the attorney Sean Carter was saying about how can a trademark be put on a person in a song that doesn't make sense, you're absolutely right. It's not really a trademark. It's likeness. So a trademark is the name or the logo that is the source of a product and a service. So Northwest here is a brand, right? I don't have her trademark right in front of me, but I am pretty sure they filed her name for shoes, clothes, music.
Right.
It's just, I mean, every product and service you can probably think of, Northwest probably has some sort of, trademark, right? So depending on what she has it in, first of all, if it's not her as an entertainer, then let's say the trademark is like apparel, then it doesn't apply to the song.
Right.
Each trademark, you have to have a trademark for each category. So number one, she may not even have a category that applies to the song. Number two, even if she did, this is not really a case about trademark. It is about likeness. Likeness is a newer area of intellectual property. So even if you don't have a registered trademark or a trademark you're using, so a logo or a word mark representing your brand and services, if someone uses your image, your signature, your voice, so in this case, her voice, that's her likeness. So really, and I know obviously intellectual property attorney didn't write these posts on the blog. It's not really a trademark issue. It is a likeness issue. So then you say, well, who has the right to the child's likeness? Because it's really easy to figure out who has the rights to the trademark, because you just go look at the application and you see that Kim is on it and you'll see the categories and it's really easy to follow. But likeness is very nuanced. It's what the person looks like. It's their voice. So in this case, obviously it is her voice. And I think what's interesting here, like Shatan says, it depends on what the custody agreement is. I looked quickly while you guys were talking. They actually share joint legal custody. So he did not have to ask Kim to bring her in the booth and record a song. That unless there's a caveat, and again, I don't have it in front of me, unless the joint legal custody agreement says, because we're entertainers, there is this caveat of, but if the child does X amount of projects or things like that, then both parents have to agree. Because you can make your custody agreement as customized as you want. I would think because they're both entertainers, they would have put something in like that, but it may not be. It may just be a regular joint legal custody agreement. And so now the legal update is Kim is considering going back to court to strip him of that joint legal custody so that she has more control over these sort of legal decisions, as Shatan had mentioned.
Well, I think it'll be a smart thing to do. Venetia Phillips, thank you so much for the super chat. Love you guys. Awesome show. Thank you so much, Venetia Phillips. Jason, what were you saying?
The only thing I was going to add is, look, Kanye still thinks that Diddy is innocent, that Diddy should be allowed out, and there's been no convictions yet. So as of right now, in the public opinion, Diddy is a bad man, but we don't know what's going to happen May 5th and afterwards. So again, Kanye thinks that Diddy is, according to him, free puff. That's what he's been posting.
Yeah, but
That's
I
what
think
he's
I
saying.
think I think Kanye is constantly seeking. He's constantly seeking a moment in media.
100%.
And because that is the biggest story going, he's going to side with the person that he's going to get some media and going to get some pushback on his stance. Everything that he does appears to be for some type of media, like Kodak Black, him hunting down Kodak Black because he said Kodak Black needed him because everybody saw Kodak Black, spiraling out of control. I think this is just typical Kanye. I just don't like the fact that he drug his daughter into it. She's not going to say no. She wants to be a big star like her dad and her mom.
But Kanye can come back and even say, well, Kim, you have a sex tape that's still circling. So I know you're not talking. I'm sorry. I hate to put it out there.
She ain't talking. She's moaning.
That was before they were.
That was before they got married.
But here's what I would say about this that is really nuanced is one, query whether Northwest knew why she was making the recording, because I think that's an interesting point. Second, I think that as it relates to exploitation, this probably fits the bill because to your point, Al, why release the song now except for to capitalize on the fact that he's got his boy Diddy and his kid in a song now to get the incremental publicity that goes with the song, and it's free. And so what I would argue if I were Kim and her lawyer is, look, he's really allowing his opportunism to interfere with his fathering, right? And he's only doing this for his own gain. This isn't about North. This isn't about putting money in her pocket. This isn't about giving her a great opportunity. He could have promoted a Northwest song without this stigma. This is about people calling him a genius. And that's what he's always wanted to be called. But I think he pushed it too far this time. And I think the court of public opinion is going to backfire. And I think if Kim has a good lawyer, that she should pursue this, because even if she doesn't win, it gives enough evidence to kind of paint the picture for what might be a winning case down the road
in the future. Yeah, especially considering that, his wife, Kanye's new wife, who is these kids' stepmom, right, is walking around in public nude, getting thrown out of events nude, and then just his behavior with these selling of these shirts with Nazi symbols on it and all of that. I don't understand how she couldn't go to a judge and say, hey, look, I need temporary full custody of my kids because not only is he unwinding again, but now my child is a part of this and I want to protect my kids. That's what I would think he would do.
And I agree 98.6%. The only concern I have is that we always are lamenting the fact that dads are not involved enough in their kids' lives, particularly daughters. Okay, and having your daughter on a bad record shouldn't necessarily take away custody. Remember, Will Smith had Willow out there shaking her head back and forth, and that was horrible. And we let him keep the custody.
Yeah, but hold on now. He's not. Will doesn't have her shaking her head back and forth with on a track with someone who's being accused of underage trafficking or underage.
No, we didn't do that. But he did have his other son make that horrible ass Beyond Earth movie or whatever that movie was. Will still, by the way, Will, if you're out there listening, you owe me a little money for that what the hell, Wild Wild West album. I paid $9.99 for that. All right, and you owe me some money for that. But aside from that, seriously, it's like we want fathers to be involved, and then we're kind of mad when they're getting. By the way, Eminem did this with his daughter Haley. All right, we've had this happen before. The fact that Diddy's on the song makes it really bad, but I kind of like the idea. We've been trying to get dads to do this forever. Take your daughter to work day. What dads would dads?
No, we cannot defend this daughter, father. No, not in these actions. Really quickly, Def God said Kanye's trying to get his kids bullied. I believe that's true. I like that comment, Dead God, because let me tell you something. Kanye better be careful, because the last thing he wants the public opinion, or just people in general, to do is turn off on his kids. like totally turn off on North. She's in this space where she wants to be an entertainer. But if people turn their backs on her this early in her career, it will devastate her. It will devastate her. But all right, we got to keep going because the next story is one that I can't wait to get to. Happening in my backyard, Virginia track star fights assault charges. Our third case involves Layla Everett, a high school track star from Virginia, who's been charged with assaulting a fellow student, Kaylin Tucker. Now, Everett asserts that the contact was accidental, claiming she lost her balance during the race, which resulted in a baton making contact with Tucker's head. She stated, "I lost my balance, my whole body turns, and then I pumped my arms, so she got hit." Despite her explanation, the incident has sparked widespread debate regarding the intent behind the action. Bailiff, let's see the video. All right, I'm going to go to you, Attorney Weiss. Is that an accident? I have looked at this video 100 times, and I just cannot convince my eyes to see an accident. What say you?
And I agree. And your eyes can't convince your brain to say that this is an accident. I think the new tool, instead of passing batons, is that we're going to be passing, mallets or hammers when they're going to, throw it at each other. Here you go. Here you go. There's no way in the world that was an accident. I don't know what got over her. It could have been temporary insanity. Hey, defense lawyers, there you go. Or it could have been, it was heat of the moment. She thought she was going to lose, and she took out her anger on someone else. She could have said something. Someone says, Christine R. says, it looks like she lost her balance after she started beating the lady upside her head. And I will give that to Christine R.
I will give her that.
That is spot on. I don't know what provoked it. I don't know what's going on, but the news and the principal of the school, she's a straight A's honor student and she wouldn't want to hurt anybody. Look, the video is there. It is there. Unless she's going to come out and say that the other runner said something to her, pushed her, insulted her. Still, that's not a defense.
She insulted her. She passed her. Bailiff, let's see the conversation of her, Miss Everett, talking about the incident.
Yep.
Has feelings. So you're physically hurt, but you're not thinking of my mental, right? They're going off of one angle. A couple times hitting her, my baton got stuck behind her back like this, and it rolled up her back. I lost my balance, and when I pumped my arms again, she got hit. I know my intentions, and I would never hit somebody on purpose. They're assuming my character, calling me ghetto, racist slurs, death threats, all of this just because of a 9-second video.
I want to go to the mom in the group here and the dad, Attorney Turner, Attorney Carter. Jason, you're a parent too.
I got 2 kids.
Yeah, I want to ask this. It's funny. I'm actually a professor in a classroom with these 18-year-olds, and that's how they think. Like she said, I know she's hurting in her head, but what about me? I am done. How about apologize for what you've done, whether it was a mistake or not? Why don't you just apologize for hitting the girl with your baton, whether you mean to or not?
Unfortunately, at this point in time, I don't think she can come out and publicly apologize because they're going to use that against her. She should have apologized.
Charged with assault, simple assault. So what does that mean, Attorney Carter?
Yeah, so I looked this up. Actually, it's weird. They charged her as an adult. Technically, she's 17. And normally, to charge someone as an adult, it needs to fit within certain types of crimes. All right, you shot up everybody in the school. All right, and they basically said this is such a big deal, and that we need to elevate this to real adult court. Even then, though, fortunately, she's charged with simple assault. And I'm seeing some of the comments here, attempted murder. I'm like, people, you've never played a sport before. Everyone who's ever played a sport has got mad at someone who's beaten them and punched them in the head. All right,
absolutely,
right? We don't people go in jail for that. We don't throw people in prison for that. We say, hey, it's wrong. You get a fine, etc. We don't usually even charge you for that. She hit her in the head.
The young lady who got hit is the one who's charging Miss Everett.
Well, remember, but she doesn't.
State has to charge you.
State has to charge. So she can be mad because the prosecutor, an adult, has to sit there.
Yeah.
No, I said many times I wanted to prosecute the hell out of Timmy for popping me in the head. All right, but that doesn't work. All right, the prosecutor has to do it, and the prosecutor really needs to take a step back and say these are two young girls. They were in the heat of battle. Stuff happens. Say you're sorry. Matter of fact, if they made the baton softer, all right, make it out of Wonder Bread. All right, you wouldn't have this problem. All right,
no, come on, we need the hammer.
Go back, Attorney Weiss. Go back to what you were saying, because give me this bread. No, we're not going to make a baton. Bread.
No, we're going to make it out of a mallet so that look. Track and field is not a contact sport, right? During baseball, during football, during lacrosse, like my son plays, that's a contact sport, right? Mm-hmm. So if you get hit in the head with a baseball when the pitcher's throwing it, that's allowed. That's expected. Right. You still can go ahead and get thrown out of the game or ejected or all of that. It is very, very, very uncommon for something that would happen on a normal everyday basis that happens on the ice or on a football field to get charges. Meaning, look, we all heard about the NHL guy years ago that took a skate off and bashed another guy in the head with it and cut them all up and did all that. That guy got criminally charged. But look at some of these hits in the NFL. Look at pitchers that throw baseballs at batters. No one gets charged. This was outside of the norm of the sport. Right. If she tossed it to her, maybe. Hey, I was trying to toss it to my teammate and she missed, right? This was blatant. She's out there. She's swinging. She ain't losing balance until after she whacks the other girl in the head. And I know you don't ask for it, but guilty, guilty, guilty.
But here's the thing: is how many life sentences do you want her to get? You want to get death penalty? Do we just string her up right now, or do we?
Attorney, to be honest, I think if she hadn't gotten a concussion, they probably wouldn't have done a criminal charge. I think because the girl
look. Something has to happen.
What would be the punishment? What would be the punishment?
The right punishment is you are suspended, not allowed to run track.
Yeah.
Right. You lose whatever.
This was the championship, though.
And charged as a minor.
This was the end of the year. It was a championship. There is no more track and field unless you run in AAU after this.
Right. Or then so
next season. I mean, I don't think it would be inappropriate for them to bar her from the sport for the duration of her high school career.
Right.
If what we have seen actually bears out to be true. Because let's just be clear, you can't overstate what Attorney Weiss was saying. There are some sports where, as a consequence of the sport itself, you undertake a certain type of risk. When you run track and field, you contemplate you might sprain your ankle, you might break your leg, you might do a lot of things. What you do not contemplate is someone's going to beat you like you stole something simply because you passed them, right? And so in this case, it looks like she's just beating the hell out of this girl.
Whoa, beating the hell out of one hit is not beating the hell out of it.
Go back and watch. Those were.
It was more than one.
It's one hit. It's just one hit.
No.
Yeah, that's it.
She hit her.
No, that's one hit. That is one hit.
Tried.
Well, she dropped it. Yeah, she dropped it. That's why she didn't hit her anymore. It's because she dropped it. I don't know what she had out for this child, but she seemed to want to hit her. It doesn't appear to be negligent. It looks intentional. But I agree with you, Attorney Carter. I don't know that her entire life should be ruined because of it.
I agree.
But I do think that her track and field life, if it's over, she earned
But am I seeing this correctly? Are they on the same team?
No. Different schools. Similar uniforms. And I'm not saying it's the right thing to do, although I have to confess, and maybe it's just me, pray for me, but that's the best track. I wish they'd give them all batons. All right, that'd be fun. That'd make track a lot more fun than just people running past each other. Just go ahead and learn this track a little bit.
Attorney Carter,
he's used to running from his wife. She's got a she's chasing him. So.
And the other reason why she may have is because it's a complete cheap shot, right? The girl had her back to her. There was no anticipation. She couldn't avoid it. She had no defense. So that's the other reason that makes it particularly egregious. That's why I wonder if like she was sleeping with her boyfriend or something, because that kind of thing just looks like she wanted to get her.
Right. That was just that just didn't make any sense to me. Okay, let's ask the algoriters really quickly. Do you guys think that her punishment is extreme or not? Is her punishment extreme or not? Is she getting a different type of punishment because of her race or not? Drop down in the comments. Algoriters. All right, next up. Funk music icon George Clinton is embroiled in a $100 million lawsuit against former music executive Armin Baladian, alleging decades of fraud and unauthorized profits from Funkadelic's catalog. Clinton contends that Baladian has been illegally profiting from his music, while Baladian maintains he rightfully owns the rights. Let's take a look.
They can't rewrite history and take that from us. So along with that, and the fact that I do have my family here, that I can pass it down to, we're all together, you're going to see that happen. And I will continue to speak truth to power and to fight against the forces that have separated so many songwriters from their music. I encourage all my fellow artists to investigate, interrogate, litigate, unseal, reveal. If we don't get this right, then they win. And I refuse to let them win.
All right, let's go to entertainment attorney Ashley. Ashley, tell me what's going on with this lawsuit, and what is he actually fighting for?
So he's alleging fraud and copyright infringement and et cetera, et cetera. But I think the issue is, at the end of the day, there are a lot of people that sing songs and rap songs. They don't own the rights to their songs. They don't own their masters. This is why you have people coming in by Michael Jackson's catalog. You know, I think even Michael Jackson had bought some of Elvis's catalogs. I mean, you don't have to be the singer, the producer, the writer to come in and buy a catalog and have the rights to it. So I love Ben Crump. He is definitely one of my partners in a lot of things. So it should be interesting to see, because I know he's not an entertainment lawyer. He's more of a civil rights attorney. I think they're really going to have to bring in an entertainment expert to really evaluate who really owns the rights to this catalog. You know, you can't go around saying because, you know, George and the crew didn't make the money that they thought, that all of a sudden someone's done something wrong. So I think you really have to evaluate the catalog and where the rights stand. Should be interesting to see what evidence, because at the end of the day, you can't just say,
well, I mean, I'm confused.
Copyright infringement. You have to have something to actually support those things.
Right, so I got it. Yeah, I'm confused here because Armin says that he rightfully owns the rights. So how is Armin getting it mixed up on what he owns, and why doesn't George Clinton know if he owns them or don't own them?
I think without knowing everything with the case, this is where the fraud comes in. I think they're making it seem like he didn't rightfully get the rights that he's claiming he has. That's where the fraud comes in. So I don't think they're probably confused about who really owns the catalog. You can look that up. Like you said, that should just be on paper, who owns the catalog. Right. I think they're saying he did not go about them legally to get those rights. That's where that fraud is coming in.
So what evidence, Attorney Carter, what evidence does George Clinton have to produce in order to show this type of fraudulent activity?
Yeah, and this is going to be the tough part, and it's always tough part. It's why this is an issue. The record company label usually only has they have all the information. They know how many streams, how many albums were sold, right? How many licensing deals they had with ASCAP and BMI. The artist very seldomly even knows how many Spotify, all right, downloads there were. And as a result, you got to go in and basically say, give me your books. Hopefully these are the right books. And then let's do all the math. And that's why we're probably going to need a real entertainment lawyer who understands these contracts. The thing I found interesting, though, is that George Clinton is claiming a couple things. One, he's saying, hey, and we talked about this before, when you get a copyright for music, there's like the songwriting copyright and the recording right. the right to the actual recording itself, the one you play on the radio, and then the right to sing the song and do whatever you want with it. And oftentimes they split it up where the artist keeps the right to perform the song, etc., but the record company has at least some rights in the recording itself. So every time it's played on the radio or whatever, the record company gets a cut. He's saying that they diluted his cut even further by putting additional fictional songwriters on there. So he said, hey, you know what? You would get half of this, but I added Tony B and Johnny C, and therefore you only get a fourth of this, right? And they also said, for instance, that they would do licensing deals and then not give him his cut of those deals. And what was the deal for? It was Dalmatians, 102 Dalmatians. Right? They said, "Who let the dogs out?" Or not who let the dogs out, but Atomic Dog was one of the songs in there. He says, "I didn't get it
like Bobby Brown."
Oh, he does look like Bobby Brown.
He
Then,
does.
which is actually not a compliment to Bobby Brown, who's like 20, 30 years younger. But
Christine R says, "Come out of the drug fog and pay attention to your money."
Yeah. Well, it's hard to come across with your money. And I have this, by the way, I have a similar situation in my business. I do continuing education. People put stuff on video. They then sell it to other people, and I get a cut of the revenue. But I have no idea what that cut is. They write me a check and they send me the money. And I don't know. I guess I can hire someone to go in their server and try to figure out how many downloads there were, et cetera. I just usually take their word for it if the check's big enough. And so I'm sure that's what most musicians do. As long as the check's coming in, it's big enough. You're like, hey, fine. And then
you have audit rights. You can go in, you could check it. The question is, are they going to produce the books and records that you
that's always
auditing? That's the question. But the other thing is what the Entertainment Esquire said first, which was, at some point in time, you don't know what you own. You don't know what you've given away. You don't know what pieces, you don't know what you signed. So the fraud could be just sign this piece of paper so that we can create your record album. Oh, should I have my lawyer look at it? Nah, don't worry about it. It's standard stuff. You're going to get paid for every record. Okay.
I have also heard that, especially when artists now think about it. He's been in the game for 65 years.
You got it.
65 years. I've also heard, and we know this to be standard across the board, when they run into financial problems and they want an advance, someone swoops in like a factor and say, hey, I will give you X amount of dollars, millions, if you sell me your masters, or if you sell me the extra rights fee. And I something in the core of who I am feel like this may have been how our men was able to get in there and buy these rights.
Or the advance comes with such outrageous interest at 18%, and it's tacked on, and you could take a piece. There are so many things that were probably done without his knowledge, without him being aware, and he probably just signed and said okay. And that's look, hindsight's 2020.
All right, everybody, do me a favor, please hit that like button. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you're already subscribed, be sure to hit the share button. Invite some folks over to learn about the law on the backs of these incredible, crazy celebrities who keep getting in trouble with the law. Also, don't forget to turn on your notifications. And last but not least, keep the comments coming in the chat. Last but not least,
one quick thing I wanted to say about the Clinton one is you highlighted what might be the actual problem. The duration of his career. When you've had a career for 65 years, the game changes, right? And we know the game has changed. There was no streaming in 1965 when he was touring with Funkadelic. When they were making My Funk, the P-Funk, right? Nobody was thinking about all of the different potential streams and how, radio pays differently depending on if you write the song and all these kinds of things. And so for him, it could be particularly complex. He's had the blessing of a long career, but that also comes with the complexities of a changing industry.
Yep.
Okay. Seems right to me. All right. Finally, we're going to examine the dispute between rapper Iggy Azalea and Universal Music Group. Azalea alleges that UMG has withheld millions in royalties owed to her for past work and is considering legal action to recover the funds. This case highlights the broader issue of financial transparency between artists and major record labels. I'm going to throw this back to you, our entertainment attorney, Ashley, and tell me, Now, this has something to do with her royalty agreements. What contractual obligation does UMG have regarding royalty payments? And does Azalea have evidence of breach? And what evidence would she have to prove?
So to be transparent, at one point I worked for Universal Music Group. So I'm just going to put that disclaimer out there. But what I will say is all agreements have your royalties. And in this particular case, because some people are like, oh, this kind of sounds like the case we just did. In this particular case, it's about her royalties overseas. So you are paid different ways here, overseas, like you're paid differently on a streaming service versus radio. All these things are different. And one of the things I did do when I was at Universal Music Group, I was a part of some of these audits that, as Jason pointed out, artists have the right to ask for these audits. So I actually have been a part of an audit. So yeah, it's one of those things where something clearly wasn't adding up, and based on whatever surface review she did, she realized something wasn't right. And so now she's like, I want my money. This isn't adding up. I did X overseas. I was supposed to get this percentage. It's just something is not adding up about it. So yeah, I think it's interesting with both of these cases. Someone put in the chat the thing about Angie Stone, which that was another thing I thought of. Like the minute she started complaining about her royalties, she's in this, this accident. And so, there's this conspiracy theory around that, allegedly that her trying to go after her royalties had something to do with her accident. Obviously, we don't know that. But I do think it just points to just an overall issue, as Shaitan says. You're just paid so many different types of ways. You have so many different types of lawyers. You're the artist. You're focusing on being the artist, whether you're 65 years in the game like the Funkadelics, George Clinton, or you're 10 or 15 years in the game like Iggy. You're so focused on being the artist. Sometimes you miss those details. And this is why you have to have really good lawyers. And this is why even if you don't have a good lawyer, every once in a while, ask for an audit. Ask for an audit. Just don't assume that people are paying you the way they're supposed to.
Got it. Attorney Sean Carter, let me ask you this. How can artists, especially the new age artists that are coming through now, how can artists protect themselves from these type of potential financial exploitations by record labels? Is it possible?
Yeah, I mean, it's a couple things. One, and we've seen a lot of new artists are starting to do that now. They're starting to basically create their own labels. We've seen rap artists do this forever, because the thing you used to need a label for was two things. One, they had the money to get you in the studio. Now you can produce everything on your computer. All right, you don't need that anymore. The second thing is that they would actually be able to print the records, right? That used to cost tens of thousands of dollars, $100,000, and then they would put them in the record. So three things: they would put them in the record store for you. Now all you have to do is just put it on iTunes yourself. And so the justification for a record company isn't as much as it used to be. Now they still do great promotion, right? A&R and all that good stuff. And so there's hybrid deals. Like Drake has one of those with UMG. We basically says, I'll take care of this stuff. Y'all take care of that. And then you know where your money's coming from, right? I'll handle the distribution. I'll do this, but you do promotions and tours and set me up with other artists and all that. And so a lot of times artists nowadays, if they have somebody on their staff who has some computer abilities, etc., they're starting to do a lot of the music stuff themselves to cut the music company out, because otherwise you really have to trust that they're going to give you your money, or they're not going to charge you for stuff like Iggy's BBL. I'm sure they took $2-3 million out of ass fat to be able to go ahead and finance that BBL. You pay for your own BBL up front.
No!
Do that.
Look, they were doing three.
Why did you guys choose this picture?
Yeah, I'm like, come on, bailiff. He wanted some cheap thrills off of this. We won't call him out, but the viewers have. They're like, why can't get that picture?
And look, they were doing 360 deals, which was they were doing everything for you: T-shirt sales, promotion, posters going up. They would charge you by the staple, so that's what it is. Look, just demand your audit rights. She came out and said that the record label had offered her $18,000 for this discrepancy. And I'm not going to quote her, what it was basically: up yours, I'll see you in court.
That's crazy. All right, Algorators, this is the time of the show where we go back through the cases and you help us decide whether they're guilty or not guilty. So get your verdicts together. First up, Shangela, is Shangela guilty or not guilty of trying to take these people's Tussie Cats, allegedly? Attorney Carter, what say you?
Reading up on this, she took mine 3 times. So I know that is all guilty. I'm be lipping out of here.
Attorney Ashley, please save us. Is Shangela guilty or not guilty of stealing Tussie Cat? You're on mute.
You did.
You're on mute.
You're still on mute.
Ma'am.
Sorry about that. Based on I was saying before Epsom salt and slips. That's what I was saying. But, anyway, I would say I'm gonna say guilty for now, just because there's so many cases and they have so many similar facts. I'm gonna say guilty.
All right, Attorney Turner.
Not guilty on a technicality, because I learned from you and Attorney Redwine that when you're taking it the way that he or she was taking it, it's not called stealing Tussie Cat. So I'm going to say not guilty on a technicality.
Oh, okay.
I think it was, what was it, Bussy? Is that what
Oh,
it was?
yeah, that's what it was. That sure was.
Attorney Weiss, get me out of here, please.
Look, just because Attorney Carter got it stolen or taken or given 3 times, I'm going to say guilty.
All right, I'm Al, and I am the judge here in Celebrity Court of Public Opinion, and we're going to find Shangela guilty. Guilty is charged. Where there's smoke, there appears to be fire, and where there's baby oil, there appears to be assault. All right, next up, is Kanye West guilty or not guilty of exploiting Little North? Attorney Carter, what say you?
Kanye is being a daddy and taking daddy to just like swastikas with daddies. All right, let the man be a parent a little bit. Maybe a different song, but
no, he's not guilty of.
He's not guilty. He's not guilty. He's being daddy
on a track with a person who's in prison for a bunch of bad things.
But they're not. Was a track? Was it a baby oil anthem, or you just happened to be on the track?
I don't know, Carter. Thank goodness you don't have any underage kids. Attorney Ashley, what say you?
I love to defend Kanye, but he makes it so hard. So I typically try to defend Kanye. And so I do hear Attorney Carter on his argument, but I do think there is something exploitative about this. And so I'm going to say guilty this time around.
All right, Attorney Turner.
All we can do is be grateful that he didn't ask Diddy to babysit, right? So there is that. That said, I think that Kanye is guilty of not acting in the best interest of Northwest.
All right, Attorney Weiss.
So Attorney Carter said he was just being daddy. I think he was just being Diddy. Guilty.
All right, I'm the judge here, and we're going to find Kanye West guilty. Guilty is charged for exploiting his daughter. I just don't think it was right. I don't think it was a good look. And once again, I think it matches his antics. Next up, is that young lady, Layla Everett, guilty or not guilty of giving that girl a concussion and not apologizing? Attorney Carter,
we can say it all at one time. we can all say it at one time. Guilty.
Okay, guilty. Layla, you are guilty, child. Guilty. Next time, when you are on national television and you want empathy, do not put so much lip gloss on. Do not lay down your edges like they will never move for the whole year. Caleb, can we see that picture one more time? Young
Somebody
lady,
said they could tell by her edges. That's all they needed to know.
That's right. No, ma'am. And nope. Looking too pretty to be sorry. All right, guilty. Elaine's guilty. All right, it's George Clinton.
Note to self.
That's right. Note to self. You better note to self is correct. All right, next up is Armand Baladian, guilty or not guilty of stealing George Clinton's money? Attorney Carter?
I don't know. Nobody knows. All right. Look at the two of them. They don't even know their own names. No, nobody. But and this thing's been going for 20 years. I'm gonna guess that You know, I'm gonna guess that they probably both stole people's money. They probably some little smart kid who wrote all that stuff.
Attorney Ashley.
You know, I am typically pro artists, but a part of me feels like, you know, the man has the catalog. I can't believe he just doesn't have it at all. So until I see that there was some fraud, I'm going to say not guilty.
All right, Attorney Turner.
This has Frankie Lyman in Why Do Fools Fall in Love energy. Remember, they told that whole story about how he wrote that song and it was taken for him, and then all of his widows were trying to get the credits. I'm team George Clinton here. I think that somebody's guilty of something, and give Granddaddy his music rights so that he can live well in his last days.
All right, Attorney Weiss.
I think just give him an accounting, let him see what's going on, let him look at the books forensically, and if there's money missing, pay the man, and if there's no money missing, go about your way.
All right, I can agree to that. I'm out, and I'm the judge here in Celebrity Court, and we're going to find Armin not guilty for right now. Not for right now. I think they're both so old that they don't remember the deals that they did make. I'm telling you, I think they made this deal so long ago. Armin has been taking care of George Clinton for so long, you know, with the finances and just feeling privileged to own it, that he wants his money back before he starts paying George Clinton anything.
And if anybody gets funked up, it's gonna be you. That's one of his. Sorry.
All right, last but not least, Iggy Azalea. Is UMG taking advantage of her? Is UMG guilty or not guilty of giving her money? Attorney Sean Carter, what say you?
Iggy is guilty of having too much ass for a white girl. You need to give a little bit of ass back to a sister somewhere. No. And I'm sure. Here's the thing: is $18,000. All right. We did $18,000 on Celebrity Court of Public Opinion on foreign rights sales, so I know they owe her more than $18,000. They're guilty.
Attorney Ashley, guilty, not guilty?
It's looking like, 18. I'm sure it's more than 18 if it's international, so it's looking guilty as of now.
All right, Attorney Turner.
Our bailiff is guilty for putting that picture up.
I know.
Yeah, I can't get past that, but yeah, whether or not UMG is guilty, it's looking like. And guess what? We got another super chat, y'all.
Big one.
Unicorn. Thank you. Hey team, I just wanted to say that I was having a rough day, but as usual, this show has cheered me up. Thanks for lending your time and expertise. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Pisces Unicorn. I really appreciate it. Attorney Weiss, is UMG guilty or not guilty?
I think the bailiff is not guilty.
All right, I'm Alan. I'm the court. I'm the judge here at Celebrity Court. And in public opinion, UMG, you are found guilty. Guilty of charge. Give that woman her money back so she can get the other side of her cheek redone. Thank you.
I'm so fancy.
Right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as we conclude this session of Celebrity Court of Public Opinion, we've journeyed through the intricate and often tumultuous lives of those in the limelight. Our discussions have peeled back the layers of fame to reveal the raw, unfiltered realities beneath. We've delved into Shangela's mounting allegations, Kim and Kanye's saga where artistic expression clashes, Alea Everett's legal battle highlighting potential bias as to why she's being charged so much, as well as George Clinton's fight for his musical legacy, and last but not least, Iggy Azalea's royalty dispute with a major label. As we adjourn, let's remember that these stories are more than headlines. They're a reflection of our society's values, flaws, and the ever-blurring line between right and wrong. It's up to us, though, the public, to question, challenge, and demand better. Thank you for joining us in this exploration. Court is now adjourned. Thank you for joining us.
Next time, everyone.
Happy St. Patty's Day.